So, you're all standing in one of the many big temples in Algar. At the feet of Rose lies the cold corpse of Nellie, the young girl. All of you kind of stand around, and imagine there's that sort of like really intense silence where no one wants to say anything. And the Goliath who's with you just sort of sits with his legs crossed on the bench on the far side of the pool, and just watches, sort of half curious, half sort of mildly appalled. What do you do?
Is she dead?
She is.
Well, are you gonna bring her back, or you gonna wait till tomorrow?
I need to prepare and seek Lathander's guidance.
Okay, pretty impressive though. That was pretty cool.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I mean, you just brought her back, and well, as far as I know, no one's been able to do that before. From that place, at least.
We are truly blessed by Lathander.
Would you like to take her back to Haven?
Either that or her village. I'm sure her brother will be worried.
They didn't have anyone else, I seem to remember. Perhaps they both could come to Haven.
Their parents were gone.
The neighbors are watching the brother.
Correct.
Yeah.
Bryce is the brother's name.
Well, it might do him better if we bring her back alive.
Yes.
I need to prepare.
Yeah. Well, let's bring her on the boat.
I'll walk over and scoop her up. You know, she's probably about my size, but running carry, no problem. And he'll just kind of walk her towards the ship. And as he passes, the nameless monk will be like, "All right, well, thanks for nothing."
Not
spread out.
You mentioned something about a back way in to Duskent. Do we have to come here for that, or
his huge head kind of slowly turns towards you, and he says, "Yes, you must come back here. However, you must also pass trials."
From a distance, you hear him go, "Ugh!"
Trials?
He doesn't say anything.
Surely we've proven ourselves, and she'll kind of glance back towards Remy, who's like walking away with the body that our cleric just summoned from the nothingness.
You are trying to barter with tradition. He shakes his head. This is not a choice that we are imposing. This is the rules.
Perhaps you could explain.
No.
I am mysterious.
I refuse.
Instead of being vague, you could explain.
Is there preparation that we could make for these trials?
The trials change. There is no way to be prepared, only to be as strong within yourself as you can. If you pass, then you will have full access to our city, and we may be able to help you. But, well, if you fail, that won't matter.
So I realize that this is part of your tradition and everything, but there is the fact that we're wanting to use said back door to stop Evelyn and the Queen of Chaos and the Chaos Lord, stop the chaos, essentially. Wouldn't that be trial enough for such endeavors? I mean, if you let us through the back way and we don't come back, and because once we go through there, we're either we succeed or we don't.
He sort of ponders this for a moment, as though sort of your questioning of his tradition is very strange and freak occurrence. I'm sorry. I don't think you really understand. You see, the purpose of our trials is to determine whether or not we will allow you to access our gates. It is not to see whether or not you are strong enough to accomplish the task which you have set yourselves. That is your own business. But our business is protecting the planes and protecting the gates. And so that is what we do with our traditions and our strength, both of which are tested in the trials.
I mean, you seem really tied to those, considering you're about ready to abandon this place.
I was going to mention that, but I was going to try and think of a nicer way of putting it.
There are the traditions of our people, not of this building or these buildings.
I mean, it's very clear that you care so much about protecting these gates. I mean, you're about ready to abandon this place.
He shakes his head. Gates are not necessarily a physical portal through which you walk like a door. They are amorphous, movable, changeable. It is not merely about allowing you access into a room.
Remy walks back over without the girl and says,
What's a Morpheus?
It means it's ever changing. But it's still, I respect your traditions, and I'm not trying to circumvent that because we mean no disrespect or anything like that. It's just, well, it's more of we're trying to do something to help everyone, not just the people of this plane, but of all others. So wouldn't the greatest thing to protect these portals and these gates would be to allow us to try to do what we're trying to do?
It would. But we cannot fly in the face of tradition, because if we let you go through untested, then what is to stop us from letting everyone through? Sure.
Well, your own
We have a
discretion.
higher purpose. He sort of grins at that. Our discretion does not matter. We began the trials to remove human judgment, so that only those who proved themselves to be worthy could go through.
I mean, there's only one human here. We can leave him behind. Just kidding.
The Goliath stands sort of towering over you, which could be construed as menacing, except he's extremely calm. And he doesn't, it doesn't look like he's trying to sort of tower down at you. He just kind of does.
mm-hmm.
And he just says, I'm sorry, there is no other way.
There had to have been another way. Otherwise, these wouldn't have become the traditions in the first place.
He frowns at that, like, You might have me there.
Just because they're traditions doesn't mean that they are like wrote in stone. If that was true, then
Bart
that
looks to the left, and there's
Yeah.
probably commandments written in stone.
Well,
The law stone, yes.
Listen, I don't think these guys are gonna just let us through, right? So, unless we're willing to spill blood all over their pretty little hallways, let's just do the trial. Get the hell out of here. Can we do it now? Can we do the trial right now?
Maybe.
All right, where's the trial? I'll go do it, and then we'll go. You show us how to get to Daskant, then we're done. Tired of listening to this guy talk real slow.
He nods his head. Very well. Begins sort of walking around your group to like head off in some random direction.
So we follow you?
He doesn't reply, he just leaves. But yeah,
Well,
you get the impression you're to follow.
Hold on. So
What?
if we're gonna go into Daskant, wouldn't we want to?
Well, we're not going to Daskant right now. We're going to do the trial so that he can show us how to get to Daskant. Then we can just come back whenever we want.
Yeah, but whenever we come back, we're gonna want to come with our full complement of allies and like, little
I thought
buddy.
the idea was that we're not going to come with. They're not coming with us to Daskant.
Are they not? You don't want to? You would want to go without Green?
I like green, but you know.
I think we would need like all of the light of Lathander that we could fit into that place.
Oh, that's a fair point. Excuse me, sir.
Your words echo on an empty hallway.
Will we need to bring back everybody to stand trial if they want to go through the gate to Daskant?
Your door closing in the distance.
Do we get like a +1 whenever we complete the trial?
He's genuinely just gone.
Well, it'd be really funny if we just leave him standing there. You won't know when we're coming back.
I mean, no, let's go ahead and anger the guy that controls entrance to the place we need to go.
Yeah, we'll find another way. Or we just do the trial. I think we do the trial. Sounds like fun. I haven't done any trials recently.
I didn't like the last one I was in.
I don't know if it's going to be that kind of trial.
I think you can probably fight your way out of this one.
I'm just imagining like a Goliath lawyer wearing like nothing except like trousers and a tie and like a tiny pair of glasses.
No, I'm just a Northern Goliath lawyer. I don't pretend to be an expert.
It's not Foghorn fucking Leghorn.
That's
Oh my.
up to the simple Southern lawyer a bit. Like, all over the place.
All right. So, what are you all going to do?
Are we doing the trials now, or are we going to deal with this? Return Nellie to her family. Or her brother.
I thought the child was important. It seems unusual to leave her lying around while we do something for an unknown period of time and an unknown period of toil.
I mean, she's dead. She don't care.
She may not care, but it's also rather callous of us to rescue her and then not complete.
Remy scratching his head. You got calluses?
Well, a few from the violin strings, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is we should see it through before we start anything else, I think. Because what if something happens to us in these trials and we're unable to complete it, then Lathander's
I mean, you really think these goons are going to throw anything at us that we can't handle?
I mean, maybe not, but that's
Yeah, I mean, We'll do whatever you want, but we're here. Why make 2 trips? That's my thinking.
I don't want to risk not being able to see this through.
All right, we'll be back in a week.
Just walk towards the ship.
So like, when you actually leave the building, you find him waiting for you outside.
Oh,
like just standing opposite the door. Yeah. So like he basically just left, right? And then you guys were all sort of standing there, and then when you come out, he's waiting for you.
Oh, I thought he went a different direction, like deeper into the city or something.
No, he just left. Like, yeah, he went deeper into the city, but like leaving his building.
Yeah.
Then
as we walk out, then Elisha will be like, "Well, we're going to finish what we came here for with the girl, and then we'll be back." With these trials, would it be everyone who will need to use the gate would need to be present for the trials, or if we are deemed worthy, can we deem others worthy as well?
the trials will grant you the ability to summon the gates. What you do with that is your own will. That is why we
wait.
protect it
I'll
so
have magic
heavily.
powers?
That's what it sounds like, Remy.
Wait. Does a space eye want to eat me?
He might if you choose the wrong door. That's
Nope,
probably
forget it. Not even trying. Should have known you guys were space eye worshippers. Give Cathane one of these for me.
I don't necessarily think that's the relationship, but yeah, okay. Anyways, we will be back to face your trials.
Gives you a slow nod.
God, you're dull.
Then we walk away? Question mark.
Do you walk away?
I'm just...
Did Elishan say that?
No, well, that was more of a... Anyone else got anything to say to the tall, bald man? Because otherwise...
Name do you go by?
My name. He sort of sighs. I'm not sure I can trust you with my name.
Wise. And Baron turns from him and walks away.
He nods.
God, these people are the worst.
Complete the trial, and I'll give you my name. So I'm assuming then that you're all going to head back to the ship.
Yeah.
Correct? All right.
Back to the keep for resurrections and going and picking up.
Yeah. So
Price.
you can like do the Muppets travel by map.
And
We do several loop-the-loops as everyone has to do.
You like get blown a weird way by a sea monster. But you finally arrive at the keep, and there you are, greeted by all of your various fellows and subordinates, and everyone sort of, as usual, kind of watches the ship come in with some kind of great enthusiasm and excitement.
I've just randomly remembered we gave those magical ingot type things to Freckle some time ago for him to make something, and he was all enthusiastic about making things.
Anaran. It was in war.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am curious if he has constructed something. or not, or if we dealt with that, did we?
There was, I don't think you did, but I think you commissioned something specific. I'm trying to remember what it was. Because the whole thing with Anorans is it's very easy to enchant. Like, that was its sort of thing.
Yes.
So I'm trying to remember, like, if you'll like ask for pendants or something.
Can you put Anoram in the chat, and then I can search it with some accuracy, and I might be able
Yeah.
to find something.
Oh, wait, Anna ran.
I think it's that. But it could be some variation of numbers of N's and R's. So, but I'm pretty sure it's that one.
Two.
We didn't have very much of it, I don't think.
It was
No.
enough to
Enough
make
to-
something, but
Yeah, I think he was like, I can make you an axe head or like some pendants.
I think we talked about briefly using it to be the pendants that Elishan and Kreen made, but then I think we ended up doing something a little bit less
Oh, yeah, and you were like,
powerful or whatever.
yeah.
I just, it might be useful with stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, well,
I have that he was eager to smelt it,
Mhm.
and
Who smelted, dealt it.
Truth.
Get out.
and that's about it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, from where I'm looking right now, we might have discussed it somewhere else. But
That's all right. Yeah, so I know you had about enough for because I remember specifically the term you have enough for an axe head. So I think he was actually going to make you like a few pendants to enchant or something like that. Though
something like that.
that's probably the memory I have from
You might-
talking about her and
It might be
Queen's
worth noting that down, and we can always, jump back and
Yeah,
think
so
of
well,
this at
what I
another
might
point.
say is like he might have got it smelted and prepared,
Sure.
and then what you want to have him do with that is up to you. But maybe he's sort of been just holding out and waiting for you to commission something specific.
You might check the Treason 3 doc, Dan. That might have what we commissioned with it.
Treason 3.
Yeah, the start of season 3 document where
Oh,
we
yeah.
talk our downtime.
Okay.
Talk.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well,
It's for season 3 then.
something to try and remember.
Yeah.
There's so much.
I'm also trying to think that we found the Sword of Feast and Famine,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but there were other artifacts of renown, and we know how
Yes.
powerful the Sword of Feast and Famine is. We might want some of those other ones when it comes to
What?
the big boss.
What were their names?
I can go into the
I
library
will,
and
I'll find the
them.
book.
So one you gave me early.
It was the spear of something.
Yeah, I have all their individual names, but like they had a collective name because they were made by that dude who turned into a demon.
Yeah. There was also the blacksmith giant that I never managed to get to the bottom of. Find any leads on.
Kelder's Bane is the book.
Yes.
The Acts of Earth and Sky, the Sword of Feast and Famine.
I've got the book. No.
The Dagger of Light and Shadow,
Yeah.
and the Spear of War and Peace.
Yeah, they sound pretty powerful. Yeah, there's some interesting items in there. I'm not sure. They might come in handy.
Do you have a way of
Opening
tracking them
giant
down?
chasms and leaping great distances and
Mm-hmm. Do you have?
forming shadow monsters. There's
Do we
not
have
an
any?
awful lot of information on them, but
Mm-mm.
I guess it's there. We also think there was a Dwarven king with his lightning spear, so we also hadn't quite figured out. Well,
Yeah. So there's quite a few things which we can sort of. I mean, I've got stats and preparations for all that old stuff, so we can talk about fixing that and dealing with that.
sure.
As for now, though, you have the body of Nellie. I imagine probably wrapped in some kind of blanket or shroud to hide her from the people, or just kind of protect her.
Take her to
Are you heading?
Lathander's temple.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very well.
Is Remy doing the honors of carrying her?
Yeah, Remy will do the physical labor part. Doesn't have too much else to contribute.
Yeah. And so you head into the temple, and it's, I imagine, sort of cold. It's Cream's been sweeping and everything, but lack of people necessarily kind of makes the building feel cold like that for a little while. And so you can sort of lay her out on the altar there. Do you have the ability to try and resurrect her now, or will you need to rest first?
Yeah, I'll need to get a rest in.
Very well. Is there anything else you would like to accomplish today? We'll say it's kind of early afternoon.
Remy will stay in the temple overnight. He'll sleep next to the body just to make sure no one disturbs it.
Okay.
It's literally only been a day or two since we did the whole balloon thing, right? The civilians won't even have got there yet.
Yeah, a couple days.
Yeah.
Presumably. Okay.
Yeah.
Byron will spend some time, with his illusions or something, and some builders or something, and his students, tracing out this palace, the work and stuff. And at the minute, I don't know the palace, the Swedish one that I showed you before for his balls. Yeah, I don't imagine he's just like showing them about the grounds and things. It's just that huge lava dragon skull just sat there. It's the only piece totally there.
A beautiful centerpiece.
So he'll do that for a bit.
Cool. Rose, Al?
Yeah, I think
All right, and Rose.
Rose will probably go looking for Elishan.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. She's not far. I think maybe after we deposited Nellie, she may be I think was it less than 16 hours before we had the memorial for Tavi, and that was nearby the Lathander's temple.
Yep. And the temple's still up.
Yep. So
yeah.
Elishan's gonna go to that little temporary memorial temple thing that was constructed for the memorial.
How are you holding up?
I'm okay.
Good.
How are you?
I've been better. I'm sorry. I had to make a choice, and I couldn't save them both.
It's okay. You had to do what you had to.
That's the thing that sucks is I know I did the right thing, but I still feel like I did the wrong thing.
Elishan just kind of nods. It's there's It's like somewhat different knowing where he is and knowing that he's still alive by whatever grace of Ayun that's granting that life. He's still alive. And we know where he is. Just got to figure out a way of getting him out safely without endangering anyone.
I can always try to ask Lathander to intercede again. Or perhaps we could go to clerics of his own god and ask.
It's possible. I don't think it's something that Arame could do. As much as him being there is a kind of tantamount to like her own realm, I guess. The only reason he is there because he tried to save me from whatever that book did. That could have been me.
It was a pretty big sacrifice.
And he's being protected for it. So that's some small comfort. You know, he didn't lose his life for it. And there's the possibility that he can be brought back and be fine. So there's some kind of grace in that, I guess. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
It makes sense. We know he's where he is. We know that he's not in Daskent.
It feels different now. The knowing makes it better.
Well, I'm glad you're able to find comfort in that.
Yeah. Gives it a direction. It becomes a thing that you can solve. Perhaps there's something that maybe the wizards at the Halls of Ivy can do. Maybe there's some kind of spell that can bring him here safely if they know where he's at. You know, like maybe a gate spell or something. I think I've read something about that. I'll have to ask Byron.
I'm sure he'll have more information on that. What are we going to do with Nellie and her brother once we've reunited them?
Those people next door that we left them with, they seem to care quite a lot for the two of them. Perhaps they'll be happy there.
We should send up a fund or something to help see to their needs.
Sure, that's easily done. Craig would have no problem.
I don't feel worthy of Lathander's gifts.
When do you say that?
I reached into the void and brought someone back. I brought you back from death. I've helped Remy more than once when I thought he was dead in a battle. I don't know, sometimes I just don't feel like I'm the right one to be doing this.
Alishon kind of like tilts her head to the side, like, well, why? You're a good person, Rose. Even without Lathander's gifts, you're a good person.
I don't know that I am.
Hey, it wasn't Lathander that got me out of prison, and it wasn't Lathander that helped me get over all the things that happened in Fyros. That was you.
I nearly asked Crean to stay behind when we initially went to see Bryce so that he could see to what's his name? Pelgrin. Is that his name?
Perrin.
We're gonna call him Peregrine. Peregrine now.
I mean, don't do that.
Very.
Those are very nice birds, and they don't deserve being lumped in with him.
I don't know. I don't know that I would have. And I don't know that if I would have helped, what I would have done if Elaine hadn't made the choice for us, or Octavius hadn't made the choice for us.
No. Here's the thing. You didn't. And you didn't have to. And those things matter. It doesn't, I mean, no one's perfect. And Lord knows I've struggled with some of my impulses, especially when things were getting rather dark for me here. I know I had issues with my anger. Like the Englehart situation.
I think you handled that perfectly.
My favorite NPC.
But we all have our dark moments from time to time. And I think what you saw in your scry and what happened to Nellie, I don't feel like your reaction was unwarranted. But you had those thoughts, but you didn't ask Crean to stay. And you didn't have to make that hard choice. It was it was
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up.
it was kind of why yeah, and she's like it's maybe the hardest thing I've ever done. But I would be lying if I didn't say that your friendship with Elaine wasn't a factor in how I made my decision, or my inability to make a decision, I guess I should say. But
See, I feel like even that shouldn't have factored in. That was your brother. You should have. My friendship shouldn't have factored into that.
I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for you, in a multitude of ways. Not just because you brought me back to life, not just because you stood up for me whenever no one else would. There are things I owe you that can never, ever be repaid.
I'll say I don't necessarily think you owe me anything.
Well, we'll just agree to disagree. But the only reason there was a decision to make that day was you, yeah, that just don't worry about it.
I should have known her better than that. I should have known that there was no way that that was going to go. And now she's gone. And we have enemies out there that we need her help with. And I haven't the slightest clue what to do.
We'll make do.
Is this the part where I tell you to stop worrying about so many problems and focus on what's in front of us?
Yeah, that probably would have been that. Yeah, because I was totally just about to like sit here and worry about things that I probably can't do anything about. So, good timing.
Oh, I'm glad one of us has the forethought to bring that up.
Well, seeing as how I don't get to brood, I think I'll go back. I should focus on the problem that I can solve. I'm gonna go see if there's something that we can do.
I think I'll stay here for a little while longer.
Okay. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for letting me say my piece.
Alishan comes up and like crouches down and gives Rose like a big ol' hug. Rose is probably like the only person that Elle is taller than besides Remy. So
Probably, yeah.
And so, where are you heading off to now?
To go speak with Byron. I think. Yeah.
As you're like walking down the street, you see this incredibly large building is like springing into existence and then changing and then shaping and then like an extra wing is coming out and then shrinking and changing and there's a dome and then something else.
Yeah, and she just
She doesn't
just
even
on a
bat an
heel,
eyelid. Yeah.
doesn't even bat an eyelid, just like spins on her heel and heads in that direction. And just like wait patiently for you to finish whatever it is you're currently doing. And then I guess after like 5 minutes, whenever he just keeps moving on into the next thing, she'll clear her throat and get your attention.
So I imagine like both of his students are like at his side or something, you know, furiously scribbling or something like that. Or like, you know, plotting out the different departments or facilities they might need. You cough and it's almost like an orchestra is what you think, that he's standing there and, you know, with his hands outstretched and his fingers, you know, playing in the sky, and this building is dancing to his tune. But he turns. Hello, Lashan.
Byron, I wanted to speak with you for a moment, really, really quick. It's more of a theory I had, and I wanted to see it, well, bounce the idea off of you, I guess.
Of course.
Right. So part of, well, she like clears her throat and like gathers herself, and the issue with Kidius, the Kidius issue, part of the problem whenever things first happened is that nobody knew where he was, and like, you know, nobody could find him on Scribe and all this other stuff. And clearly he was on another plane of dimension, but like nobody could find him because nobody knew this void plane existed until now. But now that we know, there are spells that I know some higher level wizards can do that allows them to summon creatures from other planes with a bit of a guarantee, I guess, if like true names are known. Do you like a gate spell? Do you think that would work in bringing him back? I mean, it was a miracle that Rose was able to do what she did, but we shouldn't put all of that on her to do it again. I think. If that makes sense. Do I make sense? You're not saying anything. Why aren't you saying anything?
I'm just Rob, out of character or in this world.
Yeah.
How common are 9th level spells like Gate?
Not very.
Yeah, so maybe is there like ancient texts that say once this wizard used Gate or something 100 years ago?
Maybe not necessarily ancient, but you're like there's maybe 2 dudes who could do that. And they're both like like Merlin types. Who
one of them was
no
the dude
one
that we
really
saw.
knows because
Yeah.
they're so intelligent and smart that they can't even handle like the low level conversation that mere mortals have. You know
One
what I
of them wrote the Enchiridion, and the other dude is playing chess with a bunch of with a crow.
Yeah. Yeah, actually probably. But yeah, so yeah, I mean technically possible. Feasibility is the question here.
So the idea of writing it to the halls and being like, "Hey, could you send us a gate scroll?" That'd be choice. Is probably
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the guy who was playing cards? Can we?
The guy in Vildarm.
Kavala,
Yeah,
his name was, I believe. Yeah, he's playing cards with a raven. Actually, it's not cards. I think it's some kind of weird
It
board
was a
game.
really complicated game that we.
Yeah, that you didn't understand the rules of, but you enjoyed betting with the trolls who also didn't understand the rules.
Could you just put his name in the chat? Sorry, so I can.
I can.
Thanks.
He had the Gambitine, which is like a super powerful wand of lore. And you were like, I want, Steph.
Yeah.
You were like, I want.
Grabby hands.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from my knowledge of a great many tomes, there are few wizards who have managed the capability of gate in their time. I believe we may even have met one. Kavala, who gamed at the Trolls. Maybe 1 or 2 others spread across Neath.
It's maybe not as simple a solution as I was hoping.
At least not for now.
Okay. But do you think it could work? I mean, I've done some planar studies, but a lot of it involves going there yourself. There's not a whole lot of... It was the only arcane solution I could think of that didn't involve physically going into the void. And well, we know that a god like Lathander can do it, but it's not exactly a miracle that can be performed at will, so to speak. And Kidius has a god of his own, so it might not be something within his realm.
I mean, the miracle we saw Rose commit is not something that I can hear about with any regularity, but obviously it's a proven method. So either we speak to the gods or men who have the power of gods. If you wish this to be resolved quickly. Unfortunately, I don't think either of those options will bear fruit anytime soon.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, we obviously know there are other beings out there who can traverse the planes, perhaps even survive the void.
Really, even those Algar were afraid of that place. Like, more afraid of it than the Doskent.
Again, with time and some study, I might even be able to help you there. We seem to learn more about the planes every day, and those who can travel within them with the ability to create portals of our own. Perhaps we could begin experimentation.
Right. Something to work towards then. Just wanted to mention it because, well, best minds on the problem and all that. She kind of grins.
Of course. Have you given much thought about when he returns?
No.
That was me laughing on the bone.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, he just says that, and then like you go no, and like his face it just doesn't change. He's like, very well.
Yeah, there's like that very, very long pause of like where if it was like a TV show, you'd like see like the camera like slowly like widening the shot.
But
No.
like you don't feel any sense of judgment or anything. But from Byron, he just brought it up because he didn't think you had, and he was confirmed in that. But he's not gonna do anything about it necessarily. He kind of like looks back to the illusionary palace for a moment, and like something switch like window positions or something, and then looks back to you. Perhaps Ayun will think kindly on us rescuing one of her faithful.
Would hope so.
Might be useful to have a goddess of knowledge on our side. Think of the libraries.
Yeah. I the sorry, the order that he served worked very closely with the archives back in the halls of Ivy for, well, a reason. Like, I think you know as well as I like how dangerous some of the things are in the archives there.
Indeed. And we will probably be hosting our own fair share of dangerous lore in not too long. And you like look, and one of the wings like gets significantly bigger, and then maybe like there's an Ioun symbol that sort of emblazons itself on the side for a moment, and then kind of if he thinks about it, it sort of fades.
I know Rose has been wanting to get more of a presence up here of the gods. So I don't. Yeah, that might be good.
Well, any hall should welcome a chapter of the Faithful of Ioun.
Yeah, kind of goes hand in hand. All those books and wizards.
They do.
No.
Did you talk about what we are to do with Nellie and Bryce?
Rose mentioned it, and I said that the people that we left Bryce with seemed very fond of the boy and his sister, so they might be a good, if they're happy there. she suggested perhaps starting a fund for them.
We could. They'd be more than welcome here. The whole family.
That's true. That is a very small place. It wouldn't be very hard to find room for them. But I think the husband was a fisherman, if I remember properly. Don't think there's a lot of fishing he could do up here. Yeah, am I right?
Believe so.
Yeah.
Does the river have fish?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
It's
no,
a
it
very
does.
big river.
Yeah.
Oh, we do?
Um,
Okay. I thought we were all like
Yeah, but
landlocked.
river
we
fishing
all-
is different to sea fishing.
Sure, but he might be able
It's quite
to
hard to
adapt.
make a living off river fishing.
I
He
mean,
was on the river already because he was on the Vai, wasn't he? In that village on the Vai?
Yeah, but he doesn't
I
fish
believe
on the
so.
Vai.
you
Oh,
can
he
sail
does.
downriver, I guess.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was just curious. Unless we found any particularly large frozen over lakes, I don't know, ice fish. I suppose that profession would cause some problems here.
We could offer. It is a big ask for. Well, I know it was a period of adjustment for me coming up this far north, and I lived much further south than Virus.
May well be a whole deal safer there as well.
Oh,
Well, just an offer. We're looking for people to live here, and
it's true. It's a good suggestion.
does mean we could keep an eye on the girl and see if there is any ramifications of what has been done to her, God touched or otherwise.
I hadn't quite thought of that, but that's a good point.
It's not every person who receives the blessing directly of the thunder.
Elishan's kind of thinking about the couple of hours she was dead, and so I don't know. Maybe Byron can tell she is thinking of that or not. I'm not sure, but
Maybe. He's reasonable insight. We after we've dealt with this issue, I had been considering. Rose seemed. It seemed like Elaine was very important to her, and perhaps we shouldn't leave her to fight against whatever corruption is within the Pale Guard alone. We could do with allies, and we could do with allies that are decidedly on the good side of things. And it seems a shame to let something like that fester. We have some experience dealing with the problems.
do you think Elaine could? No, see past things. I wouldn't want to ask Rose to reach out to her, but I suppose I could, or
She seemed to me a woman of pragmatism, an eye on business, and in the face of friendship, as we've seen. So if we say we would offer a helping hand to cleanse her order, I would hope she would act accordingly.
perhaps she seemed. She still seemed rather upset with all of us. So
Well, time tends to mend wounds. Give it a little while if you wish. I just would.
yeah,
Rather
maybe.
we have. Sorry, you go.
No, I was gonna say something pithy and rude. perhaps so.
I mean, isn't that what we're here for?
I was just gonna say maybe we could wait until the memorial's cold before we consider reaching out with the olive branch. She might not like seeing us celebrating him.
I mean, she doesn't have to come here. We could go to her or elsewhere. I just wanted. These pale guards seem capable to some degree, from what I've read, what I've heard. It might be useful to have some of them on our side, and better for all of Lament if, they're of one purpose. We seem in the business of helping people.
Yeah, what kind of pale guard is it? What kind of pale guard is it if they're like, corrupted by a lich cult, right?
Indeed. We do need to do something about him on.
We still have his gatestone. We could always just pop over and see what's what.
I suppose we could.
But maybe not today.
No. Perhaps you should take another look at what's on the other side. Maybe see if we can, if it's moved, or even if there was any kind of protections. I feel, say, he was not an idiot. I feel like he might know, unless he underestimates our power, that we could do something similar. Why would he not leave it?
He might have protections around himself, but he definitely seems smart enough to know that if we're hiding our end in a bag of holding so he can't go through it, that he should be doing the same. He's letting Rose scry on him through that, then he's doing it on purpose. He wants us to know.
It would be safer, I think, if we found another way, but it is always an option, unless we find an opportunity. But maybe if we start shaking the order at the bottom or something, he might make a mistake.
I'll drop a word to Rose to see about scrying on the gatestone soon. Anyways, thank you for your time, Byron. I'll let you to it. You might want to face those windows in the library in a different direction. You don't want too much direct sunlight on the books unless you're planning on getting some of the tempered glass that protects the books from the sunlight. Oh, of course, you're going to have that kind of glass, wizard halls. That's dumb. I'll leave you to it.
He looks after her with a smile, and then the windows tint slightly.
Note to self. Yeah.
Also, as she's going on the other, she walks away, and there's a little bush that's growing, a little illusionary, topiary garden bush that's growing behind her, and then it forms the shape of her, like a little statue.
Aww.
Awesome. Well, I think we'll have a quick 5-minute break there.
Ooh, break.
And then we come back.
Cool. Just gonna say, rather than going and finding Rose and having a 20-minute conversation with her, I'm just gonna say Elishon drops her a line like, "Hey man, prepare a scry tomorrow or sometime soon." With the little shrug emoji at the bottom of the note. It's like Byron wonders what's Amon up to. Shrug.
I'll get right on that.
On top of everything else.
Yeah.
Elishon's definitely not going to ask Rose to do ascending to Elaine. Elishon's better. She can do it. But she is going to want to talk to Rose about that first, I guess. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
It seems like a really hard conversation to have with Rose right after the one she just had. It's like, hey, man, I'm sorry that Elaine. Nah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Hasn't even been 24 hours since the memorial. Like, hey, Elaine, you want to come back? we're good, right? To send her a drunk text. We're good, right? No hard feelings.
Yeah. By the way, I would just like to clarify that I do actually, in my notes before this session, have a name for the dude, but I decided that names were a thing, so I just went. That wasn't me just being like, think of a name, think of a name, think of a name. Just wanna. Genuinely though, like, at least 50% of the names of NPCs that you guys know have been me randomly looking at things around me and making words together from like the titles of books and that sort of thing. Like, what's the Alfred? I can't remember what his surname was, but it was like a name of a city on a map that was on my wall. Stuff like that. Just random shit. Oh.
I sent you 2 messages, Rob, for stuff that I think might be super awesome.
I'm gonna ignore those actually.
Thanks. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'll be right back.
You sent me 3 messages.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not reading the last one.
Oh, okay. But the ones
I refuse. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
all of that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. The last one is a very cool idea. That gives me very awesome twisted Aragon vibe. But I don't know how much you know about. If you haven't read the books, then you wouldn't know. But
I read the first 2. I don't think I
you
finished
might.
them.
Yeah, I think if you've read the first 2, then you have come across who I'm talking about. But
What was the idea? I missed it.
No, I sent it to Rob.
Yeah, secrets.
Oh,
But no, definitely the first 2 are the first like idea that you're talking about there. Yeah, that's a big time thing that's happening. But the last one, yeah, is an interesting thing that I'll have a wee think about.
Sweet.
I actually done more prep for campaign 2 than I have for the last like season of campaign 1 altogether. But I haven't done any character-based stuff yet. I'm saving that because I'm really excited about it.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
yeah. Like every time my artist posts an update, I'm all like, no, it's not mine. Damn it. Just waiting. I'm hoping it turns out good.
I'm sure it will. Like, all of his stuff is pretty much dope.
Dope F.
Mm-hmm.
The Rose and Alishan talk was like a page and a half of stuff, and then the me and Alishan talking, because I can't really talk and write that quickly, is just summed up in like a quarter of a page. Well, not even that.
You know how it is in my notes? Because I was in both conversation, is Rose and L, not worthy, sorry, and then L and Byron. Kidius and Gate, talk to question mark? Oh wait, Elaine. I didn't finish writing Elaine.
Do you know what it says in my notes?
Fuck all.
There's nothing.
All these nerds.
Notes
shut the fuck up.
The gate question is an interesting question, and currently he has to offer that there's NPCs that we can do it, or the guards. But I thought I'd put in that bit about if we learn more about the gates and experimentation and stuff, a couple more levels.
He can do it.
Yeah. Again, none of them are quick, but.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's been there for 2 years or a year and a half now. I think he'll be fine.
I didn't say that, but I did think about it. He's not going anywhere.
Wait, I've just realized.
Mm-hmm.
When was our first session? Because it was like October, November time, wasn't it?
It's in 2 weeks. I looked it up. I looked this up. It was like November 10th was our first session. Because I looked at your YouTube to see when the first
November 10th of last year.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Let me look again.
It feels like we've done a lot in a year.
Yeah, I mean, I was using your notes to prep, and they were like 287 pages or something.
November 10th, 2017 was our first session.
Wow.
It took my shitty Chromebook about 5 minutes to load up the entirety of that document. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's better to set it and forget it kind of thing and come back later.
Yeah, because it loads each page one by one. Nightmare. My phone's really quick. All right. Well, my lights keep flickering, so that's not good. Whatever.
Lights in your house?
Yeah, just the lights above me flickered 3 times in the last 30 seconds.
Ghost.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Oh man, they're doing a lot, so my internet might cut out if there's a power cut or something, which I don't think is going to happen, except it did happen 2 weeks ago. Every single person lost power on the island.
Oh, Jesus.
Because there was a fire at the electrical board or whatever. Yeah, everything went down. The hospital, the airport, everything. Not one socket on the island worked for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, if that happened here, there'd be people being all get to your bunkers, get your gun. Yeah. The end times are coming. Obama's coming for our guns.
It was a kebab shop that went up on fire because the oil like started spitting or some shit. I don't know, but yeah, it was fucking mental. But yeah, so I have a bit of a 10 chain headache brewing, so I'm not sure how much longer we'll go. But I'm sure we can get to some more stuff before I need to check out. Or depending on apparently if my internet goes, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's just the lights being dicks, so we'll see. But just a heads up.
No sweat,
Alright.
man.
But yeah, I think everyone's back.
Jade?
It's only Jade that I don't know. Okay, cool. So unless anyone has any more conversations that they'd like to have for the day or cool ass role playing moments, then we can.
Remy snores.
Of course, loud enough to wake the dead as it happens.
Elishine would send a message to her boyfriend to let her know that she's back and safe and that it didn't work. But
yeah, he sends a message indicating that he is back at his home for the time being, but he'll come see you as soon as he can.
okie dokie.
All right. So, do we want to move to the ceremony or the casting of the spell?
No.
No? All right. Let's just stop them. All right.
Elishon shows up, but nobody else does.
Yeah. Guys.
Now you're gonna save this little girl.
All right. So, Rose, what does this look like? How are you going about this? I suppose.
I imagine I'll make sure that she's covered with like a shroud, kind of. I'm probably in the same cleric garbs that I was in for the memorial service, and then I'll just kind of like anoint Nelly with like different oils and things like that, and burning different incense, and then I'll just kind of kneel next to her and begin praying for Lathander to guide her soul back to her body.
You pray for a while, and as you do, you feel yourself slipping beyond into that strange place that you went when you had to resurrect El. And you open your eyes, and you're in a sort of gilded golden white marble hall, like shiny, squeaky clean floors, with this faint kind of sunlight coming in through a window on your left, beneath which is a door. And you see that there is another identical window, only through this one streams moonlight. And they both kind of cast these cross shadows on the floor in front of two doors. Sun or moon?
Sun, for the light of Lathander.
You walk to the sun door and you open it, and you see before you a beautiful vista. You see before you, laid down, kind of stretching beyond, is this vast, almost barren, but beautiful kind of moor land. And you see these sort of heavy rolling earth and large kind of hills and into mountains beyond. And there's a path leading down that way. But there's also a path leading up to your left, a twisting, winding path that seems to lead up the side of a mountain. pulling away from the earth and reaching towards the sky beyond, passing through clouds and into the sun. Which do you choose, earth or sky?
Sky.
Very well. You head to the sky, towards the sky, and you feel that she's in a limbo state. You see that you've been able to locate her, draw her nearer, but something is pulling her away. You know that one of the choices you made was incorrect. As you along this path leading up towards the sky, leading out past the clouds, you see on one side, kneeling and praying, these simple people. They may not be strong, they may not be intelligent or smart or learned, but they have strength and wisdom. They represent the soul. On the other side, you see a representation of the mind, an interconnected, woven fiber of intelligence and knowledge spanning through everything. At this point, before you make the decision, you may call on one of your allies to help you make the choice. Mind or soul?
I probably will ask Elishan for guidance.
Okay. Alishan, you suddenly feel slightly faint. You close your eyes and you awake in the same place, standing opposite Rose. Your body isn't truly there like Rose's. You're spectral, like you're made of stars, and it is hard to describe, but you know your time there is brief. You understand the choice before Rose, mind or soul. You can make me a wisdom check. No modifiers, if you'd like to.
Okay. That would be a 16.
16. Okay, you reach into your memory of Nellie and what you know of her, and you find that there's an understanding there. She is a girl of strong soul, yes, but there's that ravenous curiosity within her that you find in yourself and Byron, that desire to broaden her mind.
Yeah, this is
Hence,
a girl that read a book with a shattered cover after finding it in the river.
absolutely. And I think that gives you the answer that you seek.
Mind, I think.
I believe you may be correct.
She wasn't born where she was. She'd perhaps be already headed for a hall.
And so you head towards the mind and you pass through it almost like a forest. And beyond that, lying on the ground back in that marble hall that you somehow find yourself in again, is the curled, crying body of Nellie. And she looks up as you approach and kind of begins wiping the tears from her eyes. Who are you?
My name is Rose. I'm here to help you.
Where am I? Where's Bryce?
He's safe. He's with your neighbors. He's very worried about you.
She nods, sort of begins to stand.
Come with me and I will take you to him, and I'll reach out my hand.
She nods and takes it. And
Come with me if you want to live.
Exactly.
and you walk off into the bright light together. Everyone else, you see Rose, Alishan, and Nellie suddenly all jump awake, and Nellie kind of sits up and lets out this sort of small whimper. And she like looks down immediately at Rose, and just kind of puts her arms around her in this kind of rapid hug and squeezes her tight, and just sort of begins to weep again, though it seems relieved rather than fearful.
Rose will return the hug and kind of catch Elishan's eye and mouth, "Thank you."
She'll just do that, slow nod.
And it takes Nellie a little while to calm down. When she does, she sort of sits and wipes her eyes. Her long, sort of dark brown hair kind of falling about her shoulders, as though she usually have it tied up, and so it seems kind of unneat. And the big sort of brown doe eyes, but she seems relieved. If maybe for the more perceptive of you, there's maybe something a little bit hollow behind her eyes for now.
Remy will pull from a little satchel he's got with him just some light fruit, like probably dried fruit and things like that, and a little sweet cake, and just kind of hand it to her. And
in case you're hungry, little girl.
Thank you. She begins nibbling on it. She's not necessarily massively hungry, but it's just, something to do. And imagine the more she eats, the more she kind of realizes that she hasn't eaten in a while. And
it's kind of what I figured. Dead for a while, probably.
yeah, definitely. Can I go home now?
Yeah? I don't know. Yeah?
I look to the rest of the people.
I think that would be for the best. Your brother probably misses you terribly.
I miss him too.
Let this be a lesson to you, though. Reading only leads to trouble.
Well, no, that's
not the
not the lesson.
She sort of blinks.
I fail to see how you take anything else away from this.
You like Byron is talking directly to her. Would you like teleportation or a flying ship?
She like looks at Rose for an answer.
Do you want to see your brother right away, or?
Yes.
Might make you a little sick.
She like
It'll be fine.
eyes kind of dot to Remy and then dot away.
I'll be with you the entire time, and you will be fine.
Okay. Please.
Chose teleportation, I guess.
Guess
Apparently.
so.
Oh. There's like for a microsecond,
Oh.
Byron's like,
He's like, there's only so many kids I can show my flying ship.
exactly.
Hey, little girl, you want to
like-
see my flying ship?
Oh boy.
Oh. Stranger danger.
But
yeah, Byron,
pulls
I
out, like,
imagine.
a helmet.
Yeah, he puts the helmet on, and then offers his hand to her, and then the other hand to someone else of the party, and
Rose, maybe.
Rose,
Let's all
Is everyone
hold
going?
hands.
We can all go.
we can all
Alright.
go.
Elishon's gonna grab Byron's other hand.
So there's a flash of light. You all appear in a village with that name. That I have no recollection of.
You said it. Said it earlier. See, wasn't it? Something on the Vi.
I don't think it
Yes,
had a
it's
name.
on the Vi.
It has a name. Hold on.
No, it had an
Defo has a name.
just as we flew in. Quite a little town.
I looked at your notes earlier, Dan, and I didn't see a name.
Oh,
Hammock.
Hammock.
Really?
Hummock.
Hammock Town.
Hummock, not hammock.
Yeah. HAMMOCKTON.
That's
Hammock.
hammock.
Yeah, hammock, but that's not how Rob pronounced
I
it.
wrote it when I put it in the chat as hummock, as in a hummock,
What?
which is a thing.
What's a hummock?
It's like a hillock, but smaller, I think.
Oh, it's like a what?
A hillock.
What is
Which
a
is
hillock?
like a
it's
hill.
like a small hill.
Yeah. I'm not just making up words here.
He's not.
Are you sure?
It's just-
Yeah, a hummock is another word for a hillock.
Yeah,
And a hillock is another. And a hillock is a small hill or a knoll.
I know what a hillock is.
Yeah, a hillock is just a hummock is just another word for a hillock.
okay.
And a hillock is another word for a knoll. A knoll is another word for a mound, and a mound is another word for a hill.
So many redundancies.
Fucking Brits.
You know what? You need to brush up on your hill terminology. That's all I'm saying.
Apparently.
You might be right.
It's a small.
Remy can name 300 words for dick, but he doesn't know what a hill is.
Well, Remy probably has more words for hills than you do.
Yeah, man.
as-
being a
as
halfling.
Yeah.
But hummock's a halfling as shit, man.
Totally. Well, now Remy will
that's
work that in casually to conversation.
you bloody hummock.
Yeah, like I would say Bilbo Baggins lived in a hummock.
Hmm. Okay. Is there a distinction between a hummock and a hallock?
Hillock.
Hillock?
A hummock is a hillock for pillocks, but no, there's no distinction. They basically mean the
Okay.
same thing.
Okay.
Maybe back in the day, archaically, but
Yeah, I just googled it to make sure I wasn't crazy, and it was like the definition of a hummock is a hillock.
Yeah,
So-
a hillock, knoll, or mound, a hump in a ridge, or ridge in an ice field, or in the North American definition would be a piece of forested ground rising above a marsh.
That's a little more specific.
Yeah,
Didn't know that one. That's interesting.
typically less than 5 meters in height, and tend to appear in groups or fields.
So hummock is a little place built on a small hill, which is why it's called hummock. There's a
No, I
method
get
to
it.
So anyway, you're
decide whether we teleport directly into the house or into the street.
Well, that's up to Byron, man.
What did we do? We've teleported here before. Did we teleport directly into the house? I think
No,
no,
Brian.
you teleported outside.
No, we
Oh no, you
teleported.
teleported to the book. So yeah, you
Yeah,
teleported right inside.
Yeah, it was
Byron
scared
would do
poor
that.
boy.
Creature of habit who'll teleport directly into the house, papers whirling around, and
Yeah.
all the rest of it.
Like,
course.
careful not to mess it up so that someone doesn't land on top of the house.
It's a different, but like, it's the house where we first teleported into, so it's empty.
Yeah. So again, there's no one in here. It looks much as you left it. Maybe a few of the boy Bryce's things have been moved out and into the neighbor's house. So you sort of go across, knock on the door.
Now, just imagining they rented out the house to like someone else in the meantime, which is
Just like a home cinema there now.
gym.
But yeah, so you can kind of go through, knock on the door, and it's answered by the man who I'm not even going to try and pretend that I know their names. But I
That's
remember
not
they were sort of.
so you can
Yeah,
pretend.
I'm
make
not
it
sure
up.
I made up names.
I think we did introduce ourselves. I think we had like a very
Probably.
pleasant. Hello, we're from next door. Type thing.
Yes.
Do you want these children?
Yeah.
It was just
Here
a
you go.
child at the time.
Oh, now
Yeah.
it's gonna be. Do you want these children?
But yeah, because I remember it was a sort of slightly older couple, maybe not elderly, but a bit older. And he comes to the door.
We brought you a dead kid.
Well,
And he's-
she's
His
not.
jaw kind of drops for a second, and then he sees her, and he's
She's not dead anymore.
he sort of frowns. This is quite a strange concept for a small town fisherman to understand. It's and he sort of like leans out and just kind of and ends up focusing on what he knows, which is that the once missing Nellie is now before him, and he sort of like pulls her into a gentle hug, and Bryce kind of comes up behind him, and they have Bryce and Nellie have a tight embrace, and they just sort of whisper to each other that they missed each other and that sort of thing. And the man sort of turns back to you guys as this is happening. Says, I don't really know what to say.
That'll be 100 gold. Ah, I'm just kidding.
What you've done is we can never pay that back. That is, thank you.
Well, just raise him right.
We will. He nods.
Byron twists his hand, and like the pouch opens at his side, and out comes 100 gold or something. And it kind of, I don't know, one coin after another or something like.
He does the Caleb like 1, 2, 3.
No, but they
No,
kind
but,
of fall very satisfyingly into his hand or something.
Yeah, and his
on both
eyes
hands.
widen. This is probably more money than he's ever seen.
Yes.
And he just says, I can't accept this.
I think he reaches out his hand to close the man's hand around it, or hands kind of. Look after the girl. She's special.
Really?
He nods. I will, but this is too much.
Well, it ain't for you, pal. You spend it on them, you make your home nice, whatever. Make a nice little nest for them to grow up in.
He nods again. Oh, okay. Yes.
How are things for you here in Hummock Town?
They are good. A bit slow, quiet, but good.
You did have a wife, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a couple, yeah. We will perhaps be back at some point.
You're
Check on things.
welcome at any time.
If you ever need anything, you can contact us up north. There are people in Virus that know how to get a hold of us in Frosthaven.
You're very kind. Thank you.
And any time that you or the children is in danger, just whisper, Remy, on the wind. And I'll be there.
No, he won't.
Who's gonna believe it, though?
The man is just like out and out staring at Remy at this point.
Lighten up there, buddy.
Well, I can only give you my thanks. What you've done for these children is more than anyone could ever do, I thought. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Just make sure they're happy. They've been through enough.
You're right. They have. And we will.
All right.
Sorry, would you like to come in for tea? He sort of like shifts awkwardly. Just holding this money, not really having a place to put it.
My suggestion is you bury that, first of all. And I'm good on the tea. I think I'd like something a little stronger. This guy doesn't look like he's keeping much of a bar.
We have other things
I
to
don't even
attend
want
to.
Get something. Sorry, what was that, Rose?
We have other things to attend to. Unless you are keen to stay.
No offense, but I'm keen to get the fuck out of here. Had enough of slimy-handed children all over the place.
How come now, Remy? You're a slimy-handed child once yourself.
Still slimy-handed. That's why I can't handle too much more. See?
Look, she's got like sticky hands from like too much candy.
Just don't. And she's like reaching out, and Elishan kind of like takes like a step back, like, nah, yeah, I can see it. It's just fine from here.
It's just like tobacco smell and like crusted liquor.
Right, the sugar from the bowl of a rum.
There you go.
Whatever. Like, yeah. Awesome. Well,
Byron puts his hand on the guy's shoulder and goes, "We'll come back for the drink."
man nods. Thank you. I
Turn.
thank you. And he just like doesn't really know what to say, but we'll sort of watch you go for a moment before he realizes he's staring and head in and close the door.
Well, reward of a job well done. That's nice.
Time to go home?
Yeah. Let's go home.
Very well. So I imagine it's sort of getting towards evening by the time you arrive there. So by the time you arrive home, it's going to be like midnight. Maybe just gone.
That was 6 hours?
We took our time. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're teleporting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ignore me.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay, you get there and it's been like 10 minutes.
It's like we've barely like gotten to second breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still like 9 a.m. All right. Well, what would you guys like to do then? You have much to accomplish.
I like the idea of going on a lich hunt. That sounds fun.
We're going to catch a big one.
Speaking of, Rose, Byron kind of suggested that perhaps we try and speak to Elaine about seeing if we can get her help. Do you think she'd be agreeable to that after everything that happened? You know her best.
We've had bigger disagreements than this.
When was the last time you fought over somebody's vampire brother? Happened to you a lot?
I mean, that's really not specifically something that's happened, but I mean,
Elishan has like that nervous laughter that's like hiding tears in the background.
Oh, brutal.
High stakes relationship, though. I get it.
I mean, she She's stubborn.
Must be a dynamo in the sack, huh?
Yeah, I'm not answering that.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, she's stubborn. She has a temper. And she's dedicated to her job. I probably should have seen that exact reaction coming.
Well, it's not like we could have planned for what happened. I guess the real question is, does she hold a grudge?
I mean, for a little bit at least.
Yeah, she seems like the type.
At least so it's not fun anymore.
I think that is possibly the most perfect summation of Elaine's character right there. So kudos, Jade.
Yep.
Well, when she's ready to have her order cleansed, Barry rolls his eyes a little.
I mean, we could try to get a hold of her and offer her that help. Because I mean, she's gonna want that. I mean, if we're offering something that she wants, she might be more likely to at least try to hear us out.
Who is it best coming from? That offer.
It's a complicated question with a lot of. I mean, I can try. I can't guarantee she'll answer me. But like I said, if I
You
offer
can-
business,
And her,
yeah,
offended
Yeah.
thing, right?
uh-huh.
I could as well, now that I've met her. So the question is if the olive branch comes best from Rose, her friend, or me. Hey, I don't have any hard feelings about you wanting to kill my brother. Come get help.
Might make her feel better that we did kill your brother.
Well, she was there for it.
Oh, she was. Oh, yeah. So what's the problem?
She might not think that we would be willing to work with her after the things she said.
Well, we could debate the hypotheticals, or you could just send the message. I think Rose should do it.
I'm willing to if you don't feel up for it, Rose.
I'm gonna have to message her or talk to her at some point in time. Yeah, I can. I mean, what's the worst she's gonna do? Not respond to me?
That's kind of the nasty thing about the sendings is that, it'll sit there and niggle in your head until they answer, unless they answer. So,
The original text message.
yeah, it's like that one that it's like the notification like lights up your phone and it won't stop lighting up your phone until you like open it up and look at it.
No, I think it's more like there's the three dots, like someone's about to reply, but they never actually reply.
Yeah.
But you're like leaving your phone open in case they do reply.
The thoughts forever and ever, yeah.
Well, we can't go until tomorrow, and if she doesn't reply, I really hope she can't have got into too much trouble in the several days since we left her. She might be meeting the refugees on the road about now. I'm sure that will slow her down.
She was hunting another vampire. She said as much.
She won't be willing to help us until that's done, at least. So hopefully her hunt was successful.
I mean, if she hasn't done it already, we could do it.
Come help her as a sign of good faith.
Yeah, she's not gonna I mean, that's not. It won't hurt, but we're not scoring any points with her for it.
All right.
You know her best.
Yeah, I do.
Bow chicka bow wow.
It's complicated.
So complicated.
What do you say then?
Hmm. I'm just gonna state the facts. If you want help clearing your order, cleansing your order, we're willing to offer assistance.
I mean, we're gonna do it regardless, right?
No,
No.
No,
maybe.
maybe. It just would be much more helpful to have a starting point.
Yeah. So basically, if you want help cleansing your order, we're willing to offer assistance.
So there is a fairly long pause before she replies, but she does reply. And it says, I'm sorry for the way things went down. I need to finish my current business, and then I'll talk. And then I will come and talk, I think she'd say.
All right.
Very
Well,
well.
we look forward to seeing you. And yeah,
There's no reply to that one.
Wasted a whole spell slot on that.
Yeah.
I did.
So what? We gotta wait for her to get her act together, and then we can go fight him on. I don't like that.
I thought we had some trials we were gonna undergo.
What do you guys say about that as well?
All right, trials first.
Well, so if you guys are going to do the trials, then I might say that we could leave it there, just because
Sure.
my head is fairly pounding. Though I am looking forward to the trials. Sorry guys about that, but
No, it's all right, man.
it's been a long week.
It happens.
Late over there. You're a working man now.
Yeah, sucks.
Like a big boy.
Mm-hmm. However, I am pretty much as far as I know, good for the next few weeks to play. I've got a couple trips to London coming up the next couple months, but apart from that, it's in like December and January, so we should be good.
When is our next mecha hack, Dan? Next week, isn't it? The 4th?
What is this mecha hack game you guys are playing?
It's this game of Ian's on that's the mecha hack system.
Which is
So-
one that Click made off the Black Hack.
It's
all
Black
big
Hack,
robots and
but
stuff.
with mechas. Yeah.
I don't know any of those words. So it's a sci-fi setting with an
Yes.
Giant
yeah.
robots.
Yeah. So Black Hack is like a super basic rules light OSR, and they just took it and made mechs with it.
Basically like a simple D&D, and they just
Yeah.
converted it into a simple sci-fi system.
Cool.
And then Ian is running, as Ian does, a very heavy version of that with lots of role play and not a huge amount of mecha fighting, but some, yes. The next session is on the 3rd for Mecha Hack by the looks of it, and then I think we are free until the December the 1st.
Is the
So-
3rd a Friday?
So it's technically 1 a.m. for me on the Saturdays when we start. So like we can do a short session if we wanted to on the 3rd, but I mean all of November is free. So our birthday session, for instance, as newly discovered, would be free.
Awesome.
Well, why don't we do Friday the 9th? Just commit to that.
Yeah, that sounds good. And obviously, any changes or people can't make it or whatever, that's cool. Just let us know. We
I'll
can
have
reach
going forward. I'll have more stuff going on the weekends. I'm going to be running a D&D stream of Waterdeep. Is the Dragon Heist
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
book for Sarah's game company. They're trying to woo WotC into letting them make a game, so they're running like D&D streams and stuff.
Nice.
Nice.
Well,
And you're-
sure
and
to
you're
see
running
I
that.
one
won't be
for
able to watch it
employees?
because Jade is planning on running that for me at some point.
It'll be on YouTube. Oh, yeah, okay, I see. Yeah,
I can't watch.
spoilers abound.
Yeah.
And you're going to be running that for employees of her company?